What's up, family? It's Wednesday night, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. That means it's time for Midlink, your midweek connection. I'm Pastor Ty, and as always, I love to remind you that God is up to something big in your life. And so I'm excited about you being with us tonight. You made a wonderful choice to be with us tonight. We had an amazing guest. You said guest? That's correct. We have a guest tonight. And I told you that we're switching it up for the summer. And it's June, so hey, we're in the summer and we're switching this thing up, and we have some phenomenal people lined up that's going to be with us. And tonight's guest is going to come out the gate, set the tone for what we're going to experience for the upcoming months. It's going to be tremendous. Well, before we get into what he's going to share and what we're going to dialogue about, I want you to go ahead and y'all know what I'm going to ask you to do. Now, come on, now y'all really should just go ahead and start doing what we do, because you know what I'm going to ask you to do. I ask you every single week. So I'll ask you anyway. Since you want to make me beg, I'll go ahead and beg. Would you please? And this is what we're going to do. We do something. It's called our check-in. Check-in. So just in case you're new, what is the check-in? It's just where we jump in the comments and we let everybody know we're in the building. We say hello, good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon. Just depends on when you're watching this. Even if you're watching this by way of replay, we want you to still check in and let us know that you are here. It's an exciting time. So let us know who's in the room. Who do we have checking in? Hey, Francis Core. Mother Francis Core says she's checking in. Hey, good evening to you, Mother Core. Thank you so much for being on. Hey, Cheryl Core, thank you so much for being on. Good evening to you as well. I see we have Bruce Howard's in the building. Hey, what's up, brother Bruce? Good to see you, man. There it is. There's the first one. I knew it was coming. Somebody was going to have the shaky hand. That's the wave or the tambourine hand. I don't know what it is, but I was waiting who was going to get it first. There it is, Bruce. You got it. Ain't no prize or nothing, but you got it first. All right. Shalonda McClellan says, good evening, family. OBJ. I don't know what that means right there. I don't know, but okay, we accept it though. It's cool. Hey, Sylvia, good to see you on. Blessings to you. Thanks so much for being on with us this evening. Hey, Mother Myrtle Dillon, she's on. Good to see you on. Blessings to you. There it is. The picture popped up. There it is. Blessings to you. Hey, Tracy, there. It's good to see you on. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I see there's Greta Swain. Good to see you on as well, ma'am. Blessings to you. Everybody, do me a huge favor. I need you to share this. I need you to like this. I need you to make sure that if you're watching on YouTube, that you have your notification bell on and that you have subscribed to our channel. There he is, the bass man himself. Jarek is on. Good to see you on, man. Blessings. Good to see you. There's another hand. Hey, Dr. Tiffany Sales, good to see you on. Blessings to you. Good evening. Good evening. Everybody share, like, subscribe. Make sure the notification bell is on. You know what we do around here for Midlink, and so we don't want you to miss. So glad to have you on, everybody. All right. Hey, Willanie, there she is. Boy, isn't that a cute little profile picture right there? I'll tell you, she's okay. I think that's a snowman. He's got a hat to the side or something. I don't know, but I like it though. All right, well, that's my girl right there. Good to see you on. Blessings to you. All right, real quick, y'all. Real quick, just a reminder immediately following this, we get on our prayer line. It's called Recharge. Recharge is simply an opportunity for you to call and to listen in. You don't have to say anything. I call it a listen live line. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what I've named it, because you don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything but listen and receive. There's some amazing prayers that happen on that immediately following tonight at 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Jump on and be encouraged. That's why we call it Recharge, because we're recharging. We're putting on the charger so that we can go through the remainder of the week. All right. And I also want to drum roll. I want you all to get this. We have an amazing event coming up in just a few short weeks. It's almost Father's Day, you all. Can you believe it? Man, time is flying by. It's almost Father's Day. Every third Sunday in June is Father's Day. And so we're having a Father's Day weekend fishing event. It's called Fishing with Fathers. And so it's going to be at 8:00 a.m. to 1:00 p.m. And it'll be right in our local area here in Gadsden. But you have to register. You got to sign up. We want to make sure that we have everyone accounted for, because we'll have a little food out there. We're going to do some different things. So we want to make sure that we have our count as accurate as possible. Our amazing producer, Miss Princess, she's going to make sure that you have that link in the comment section. So if you want to go ahead and register, you can do that. You don't have to be a partner of the People Place Church, but you do have to register. All right. And I am going to announce to you, initially I told our folks who said, hey, we're just going to do this fathers with their sons or nephews, that type of thing. But you know what? I don't want any dads to miss out. And maybe you're a girl dad. And so guess what? We're just going to have fathers and their children. The girls, boys, don't make a difference. Bring them out, bring them fishing. It's just going to be a good time to be a father. All right. It's going to be amazing. Now it's a limited amount of space. So make sure you go ahead, look in the comments, find that link, and go ahead and get registered immediately. All right. Now we have all that out of the way. It's time for Midlink. Hey, there she is, Tanisha Dillon. Good evening to you, ma'am. She got her hand waving too. That's the signature move, I think. So we waving back at you too. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, tonight's guest comes highly recommended. When I started talking about having people on and having guests on weekly during the month, our producer, Miss Princess, y'all give it up for Princess in the comments, man. She's making this thing happen behind the scenes. She went to work, and one of the first people she named was our guest tonight. And so after she told me a little bit about him, and he and I had a conversation, I said, oh man, I really do believe your story will be highly encouraging to our listeners, our listening audience. And so tonight I'm excited about the guest that we have on. His name, and y'all know, I want y'all to welcome our guests. Make sure we make them feel welcome. Can you help me just give it up for the one and only Mr. Corey Carter? Corey Carter, he's on with us tonight. There he is.
What's good?
Corey Carter, the man himself. Let's put that. Y'all don't he look like he the man right there? There he is. Boom.
That picture makes me look way cooler than
I am. Hey, Corey, good to have you on, man. How are you today?
Good, man. How are you?
All right, man. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking out time to be with us. Everybody
I'll give you a little
hello.
handshake. I'll wave like everybody else.
I don't know, that little handshake just somebody started and it just stuck. And like every week, man, somebody's gonna put it in there. So it's good. We're glad to have you, man. Well, as I told you with Midlink, man, it's really all about people being encouraged. It's really about people leaving with some practical tools. We're huge on this life application, man. And it seems like you've learned so much just through your process and through your journey just in life. But before we go into how you got to where you are, just tell us who you are, man, what you do, and just some of those things. Catch our audience up to speed to who is Corey Carter.
All right. Well, yeah, my name is Corey Carter. I kind of go by character online or whatever, but right now I have 2 podcasts. One's just about to start, and I started the other one about a year ago. I went to film school, went to Full Sail University in Orlando, graduated in 2009 with a film degree. It's kind of in and out of the film industry, for 15, 16 years now. And, I've worked on reality TV. I've done sports competitions and things like that. But yeah, man, it's been a journey. This 15 years has been a journey.
Yeah. Nothing usually happens worthwhile overnight. And so I'm sure, you telling us what you told us, it's a lot easier to tell than it was to live.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot quicker to tell too than it is to live a lot of times. Anything that's worth anything usually is going to be work, and when you have those type of things that you just mentioned and you kind of glossed over it like it was nothing. It was kind of a little flex, but he just glossed over like, a little reality TV, little professional sports, whatever. He just threw it out there like that. So, but you do anything for any period of time, man, it comes with its own set of circumstances. And then you add in, home life and family and these type of things. So talk to us.
There it is.
Yeah. So, man, tell us about, just your story, however far I told you in the green room, however far you want to go back. And, I'm one who I like to listen to stories to get the principles, man, that I can apply to my own life, and so let's talk about just that process, man, of going from wherever then was to where you are now. Just
sure.
What did that look like?
Well, all right. I'll start. I'm 19 years old, and I leave my parents' house for the first time. I moved to Florida. I lived in Maryland, grew up in Maryland.
Gotcha.
Moved to Florida, go to Orlando to start school, and I move in above a couple girls. Okay, 19 years old. I'm interest is peaked.
Problems already, man.
Yeah, big problems already. Red
19
flag.
Girls. Yeah.
So I meet them and I hit it off with one of them, and she. Quick side note, and this is significant. One of the first days I met her, she brought her daughter up to my apartment so I could meet her daughter. Her daughter was about a year and a half old at that point. Her name's Lily, and like as soon as she came over, I was playing with Lily. I wasn't even like that guy that would just play with kids, hang out with kids or whatever. Yeah. But I was playing with her the whole time, and like when she left, she wouldn't leave my apartment until she gave me a kiss on the cheek. And I found out later that she had never like voluntarily asked for a kiss from anybody but her mother before.
Wow.
So I was kind of hooked at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing led to another. I ended up having to leave that apartment I was at, and we moved in together. And well, she had gotten evicted. It was a whole crazy story, and this and that. But we moved in together, and really that's when things started to go downhill. That was when I first started, and like my parents, they would argue, of course, but I'll never remember a time where I like watching my parents have a screaming match, right?
Right.
So the first time that, I don't know, she got angry about something and she just lets loose, man. Like just screaming at the top of her lungs, cursing, calling me names, this, that. Not like, I just left the apartment. I came back. I was like, I don't know how to handle a situation like that. I've never been exposed to this kind of situation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Time went on and I graduated. We ended up getting a house. And I got that job at the reality TV company. It was soon after I graduated. And that started as like a normal job. I had a day rate. I was working 8 to 10 hours. And then eventually I moved up in the company and my responsibilities got more. I was working 12, 16 hours a day, every day.
Wow. And
she, unbeknownst to me, had severe psychological disorders. And she had, when I met her, she was pretty much sober. But over the 2 years that it took me to get to that point in the reality TV, she had really started getting crazy into drugs.
Wow.
Painkillers, Xanax, Adderall, anything she got her hands on. And that's when it really just started losing control, muscle relaxers. I remember I was working there and I couldn't get a hold of her. It was like 1 o'clock. I knew she was home with Lily. And I came home and she's seizuring on the bed. Like I rushed home from work and she's
Wow.
just seizuring on the bed. Lily's 4 years old in the back room.
Oh,
I
wow.
call the ambulance, this and that, that should have been my first, huge red flag. I had enough red flags already, but
Right.
that continued to get worse. But as the drug problem got worse, her psych disorders got worse.
Wow.
And I mean, she had schizophrenia, paranoid delusions, bipolar, all that. And it eventually led to her always thinking I was cheating on her. It was, just absolutely crazy. Like I'd come home from a long shift at work and I can't see the floor to our apartment because it's covered in receipts she's printed out, proving to me that, I did this, I did that, I did this. And, of course I'm denying it. And that
Right.
very quickly led to her getting abusive, physically and verbally. It was, she had some words for me that still ring in my head today. And like, I remember the first time she hit me, it's because she heard a girl talking in our bedroom, but nobody was home.
Mhm.
And I mean, I remember she hit me and I called her best friend. We were all friends at the time. I called her best friend. I was like, she just hit me. Like, well, I didn't even know how to process that.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Hold on. See, I told y'all this was gonna be good tonight. I told y'all this was gonna be super good tonight. I tried to tell you. Listen, so man, you talking about you're 19, you leaving home, you want to spread your wings. You go, hey, I'm going to Orlando. I'm going to some sun to get away from all this Maryland weather, this cold, this type of thing. And then, man, you think like, hey, man, maybe I found the love of my life. You got this little girl, she's this, that, and the other. But then you're up for this rude awakening, and even on the heels of the month of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month, this is like kind of perfect timing. We observed that a few Sundays ago, but what are you thinking, man? Are you thinking this is a passing phase? Are you thinking this is, what? Because it has to be surreal, because I didn't sign up for this. I'm thinking like, man, this is, sunny Orlando, man. It's, SeaWorld and, Disney. This is hey, this is the place to be. And then I got this other stuff going on. Like, what are you thinking? Like, we're gonna figure this out. You're thinking I need to get away. You're thinking this is a phase. What's on your mind?
Well, first and foremost, I'm thinking I'm Lily's stepdad.
Yeah.
That means nothing. That means absolutely nothing in the legal system. They don't care about that.
Yeah.
She never let me legally adopt her because that put too much power in my hands.
Wow.
So I know that if I leave, I'm leaving my daughter. I mean, she's my stepdaughter, but I'm leaving my daughter. I'm the only one she's ever known as dad in this situation.
Yeah.
I would never sleep another night of my life if I had left her and doing that. My parents told me I'd come home whenever. I said, no, so that was the first hurdle. But then, this is, I'm pretty sure she was my fiance at the point when she started hitting me. We eventually got married. So I'm thinking if I get her to the doctors, right? So I encourage her to get some psychiatric help and she goes, but then she doesn't tell them what's going on. She doesn't mention the fact that she hears things and does this and does that. So they just keep prescribing her the things that she wants, the Adderall, the Xanax, So, I mean, really, I was with her for 15 years. I would say the first, 4 or 5 years that she started really hitting me and verbally abusing me and everything. I think I really was convinced that I could save her.
Yeah.
I could help her. It was probably around the time at one point we were just about to get evicted. I got this job in Atlanta. This was when we were in Orlando. I got a job in Atlanta that I could stay. I was got to go to Atlanta for 2 weeks, but I was going to make like 3 months of rent just off that job. So I went and she's calling me. I got to be up at 5 a.m. She's keeping me on the phone until 3 a.m., yelling at me, screaming at me, and this and that. And I went to sleep for a couple hours one night, and then I woke up to the guy I was staying in the room with, waking me up, telling me that she had tried to kill herself.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. And that hit me, man. Like, it's at that point when your partner tries to attempt suicide, you automatically blame yourself.
Right.
Yeah, how could it not be? I'm her partner. I'm her support. So I had this. I'm supposed to be that. I'm supposed, and I think that was probably me getting to the point where I was accepting that that wasn't my fault. That these
Mhm.
are her issues that she's not doing anything about. Was probably the turning point of like when I started thinking, okay, I got to find a way out.
Yeah.
But I still had my daughter, and she was still, I don't know, 8 years old at that point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to jump kind of toward the end, like how it all ended, we ended up
Before you
moving
get
out.
to the end, before you get to the end, let me just kind of rewind back just a little bit, man. Yeah.
Recap.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really wanted to, because this can be a little different for most to hear a man saying, "Hey, she hit me
Yeah,
when I was abused, when I was that type of thing." And men, we have this thing, and now I know better, for a few reasons, just from you know being around enough people and hearing different things, and being a pastor, that kind of thing. But then also my mom is a domestic abuse specialist, and went to school and for this, and worked at this women's services place for years. And also she would tell me all these different things, and but I had no idea that, it never crossed my mind until then that men would be abused as well. It's kind of like, yeah, right, if you're a man, just leave, you're stronger than her, you're this, you're whatever it is. So um how were you dealing with that, and even processing that when she's physically abusing you? Are you telling anyone? You ashamed to tell anyone? Are you feeling like, you know so I don't know necessarily what that mindset is like, but I'm sure people have said, well, why don't you just go? Why don't you just, and I know your daughter and all of that, but that type of thing. So, talk a little bit about just the physical abuse and the role reversal in that, man, because I think that's something in that for somebody who's listening.
sure. Nah, I get it all the time. Like I made music for a little bit, and I would talk about that, like having been abused and everything. And I'd submit it to a review show, and everybody be in there like, "Oh, I'd never let a woman hit me. I'd be, I'd hit her, but this, that." But like, you don't know, you don't
Mm,
know why a person's in a situation, and how I dealt with it. I mean, I don't think I really did deal with it. I don't think I really did process it. It
mhm,
was it was a my goal when I woke up that in the morning was to go to sleep again at some point that night,
yeah.
and just keep it as cool as it could be
Wow. Yeah.
for every single day. And I mean, you know, did I tell anybody about it? I wouldn't tell people every single time it
Yeah.
happened, but it would, occasionally it would just blow up to be a crazy situation where I had to leave. And she
Mhm,
never wanted me to leave, but I'd sneak out, I'd grab keys and just get the hell out of there. Sorry,
mhm,
get out of there. Um, and when I would, those would be the times where I would like call my family and I would tell them everything. I would go to my
mhm.
friend's house and I wasn't ashamed of it. Uh, I wasn't ashamed of it because while I was there,
Yeah.
it was like my lot in life at that point. That was
Wow.
that was just where I was at, what I had to do for Lily. For it was all for my kid.
Well, I tell you
Um,
what. Yeah,
it, and
man.
it just it wasn't easy at all, but
Mhm.
I've worked through it since then. I'll say that.
Yeah. 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 You were going to fast forward, man, and tell us kind of how things begin to progress. So you're getting this
Mhm.
this call, and she's making this suicide attempt and this type of thing, and now you're feeling this guilt and having to work through that. Is it my fault? Should I have done this? Or what did I do? What did I cause this? You know what I mean? Or maybe I shouldn't have been so hard, or maybe I should have been harder on it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's these. What do you do? So go ahead, pick up there.
Okay, so from there, and like I'm jumping years here, but
Yeah,
from
yeah, I'm
there,
sure. Yeah.
we got evicted. Let's see, what do we do first? Yeah, no, as soon as we got evicted, well, we couldn't afford a hotel room at that point. So we found out a camping site. If you had an EBT card, they let you stay for like $3.
Oh,
So we took up there for a weekend, stayed in the tent for I don't know, it was like 3-4 days. And then we eventually found a hotel that we could afford for at least a little bit. We
wow.
ended up staying at that hotel for 2 years, man.
Oh, wow.
It was miserable. It was
Wow.
absolutely miserable. That was a really bad time. we eventually moved in with her grandma, blah, 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 got our own place. Then eventually I lost my license, lost my job. We were pretty SOL. So she had family here in Alabama, and we moved here. Once we moved here, it got really bad. It got really, really, really bad because, I mean, her drug use got worse, her psych problems got worse, but eventually, uh, she would go into psychosis. Do you know, like full on
Talk to us
psychosis?
about it. No,
All right.
talk to us about it.
So psychosis is when you go into a state, and I mean, you're not living in this world with us. You're hearing things, you're seeing things, you're thinking things that aren't true. You know, it's like a woken catatonic state is the best way I could describe it. You're
Wow.
just living in a dream, but you're saying the things in the dream. You're actually doing the things. So she's going crazy. She went in psychosis a couple times here, and this was the first place in Florida. They just held her for 3 days. Every time she'd really go crazy, they just held her for 3 days, send her out. Alabama was the first place that held her for 30 to 60 days, put on 30, 60-day holds. She did that once, thought it was going to be better. She came back, same thing. About a year after that, she got her hands on some Adderall, which is what always put her into psychosis. She took the Adderall. She, sure enough, goes into psychosis. But Lily is 15 years old at this point.
Oh, wow.
And though I have no actual claim to it, she's old enough where a court will listen. So she goes into psychosis, also tells me that she's been cheating on me with a family friend of ours, who's like 75 years old. So she goes into psychosis. I go to a lawyer. I do everything I have to do to get her put back into that hospital for 30, 60 days. And I told her when she went in, I said, "You're not coming back. I have to do this." When I remember we were sitting there, I have a video actually of Lily, Rachel, and I watching Fresh Prince in our living room. And she, like in the middle of it, Rachel just gets up and starts screaming at the top of her lungs at I can't say the word, girlfriends outside.
Yeah.
And you know, Lily looks at me like, what is going on? You know,
Right.
and so I pulled her to the side and I looked her in the eye and I said, I promise you, this is the last time. I'm getting us out of this. She will not come back here. So I got her in the hospital. I told her that, and she never, she got out of the hospital, went to stay with a friend of ours or whatever. She was a little bit of an issue. She's been a little bit of an issue since then, but really that was when my healing journey had to start. Wow. That was when my processing had to start.
Yeah. I mean, you going, man. I mean, I can just sit here and listen. I don't even have to really host this one. You know what I mean? You know exactly what to do. Maybe because you got 2 podcasts, you already know where I'm going to go before I even get there. But yeah, that's really, I'm sitting here listening to you and I'm looking at you and I'm like, in church they say you don't look like what you've been through, and so we use as an illustration the 3 Hebrew boys who came out. Bible says that they came out of the furnace without the smell of smoke. So you didn't have the residue of, just what you've been through. And I'm looking and I'm saying, how did you stay clean? How did you get it together? How did you have like 2 podcasts? How did you end up doing this media work for this reality TVs and this? How did you make it from 2 years in a hotel or living in a tent for days, $3 a day and all this? See, one of the reasons I know that it's divine that you would be on is because your story, and what stories do a lot of times is they are excuse eliminators, because sometimes when we're in our thing, we think we're at the bottom until we talk to somebody who's been to the bottom, and we think that, oh man, I have it tough because, hey, my internet's not working, it's freezing on me, hey, my cable's off, hey, my phone is dropping a call, and so now I'm going through it. It's like, come on, man. So you talk to somebody, have you lived in a tent for days? Have you lost your license and lost this? And have you lived in a hotel for 2 years? And, and look at what Corey is. And so what's our excuse? And so these things motivate us, and they take away the excuse that we put on ourselves and the limitations that we put on ourselves. So talk to us about choosing you and valuing you and saying, okay, listen, I have to be healthy for myself. I've got to be healthy for Lily. I've got to make sure that I can't let you take us all down through this. So how hard was it to make that decision? And then what was that
No,
process look like?
it was hard. It was hard because I I just said this on another podcast or whatever, but the most common thought that went through my head during that relationship, after that relationship, was I hate myself.
Mm,
I hated who I had become. I hated what I let her do to me. I hated my life. I hated everything about myself. So when she left, that was still very prevalent, but also, I was never allowed outside the house without her. I was never allowed to have my own hobbies or anything like that. So she's gone, and like my first couple of days, I'm sitting around the house like, what do I enjoy doing?
wow.
What do I actually want to do? Like what's a hobby of mine? What's an activity that I want to go do? I
Wow.
had no idea. Man, I went and bought a basketball, I bought a skateboard, tried skateboarding, not a skateboarder. Uh but I mean, I was trying a little bit of everything. And a big part of it was I got a hold of one of my best friends in high school. On It was 3 weeks after I got her into the hospital. 3 weeks to the day, I got a hold of my friend Danielle, and we talked. We talked every day. I told her everything. She was integral in getting me through it. I mean, I have panic attacks while I'm on the phone with her, and I mean, keep in mind, she's in Maryland at this point. I'm still in Alabama,
Wow. Yeah.
and she heard me say I hate myself more than anybody else. Like
Yeah.
she heard every time I had that thought, and um, that was a huge part. She's now we're fiance, girlfriend, I don't know what you want to call her, but she lives down here with me now.
Okay.
This was 4 years ago, so
Yeah.
um, it was the process of getting to know myself was my process of healing. I would say
Mm,
that.
wow. Yeah. Yeah. Man, you may not be surprised. I talk to people who have not been through what you've gone through, and I'll ask them, "Hey, what do you like to do? Hey, what do you?" I don't know. Tell me something about you. Well, I don't know. Or they start naming things that, their profession or this
Right.
type of things. But okay, no, tell me about you. And I think self-awareness is one of the biggest gifts that we can have, knowing who we are, knowing what we value, and being able to identify that. I'm huge on identity, man. And because I believe if you don't know who you are, somebody else will tell you who to be, and if you're not, um, if you have this ignorance of identity, you will ultimately be in an invisible prison of ideas and people's thoughts and what they want you to do and how you should behave and how you should do this. And so no, that shouldn't be the case. But if you don't know, I promise you somebody will fill in the blank for you. And then you'll find yourself using time, money, energy, resources to chase after trying to become something that you never were meant to be anyway.
Yeah.
And so that's just a huge waste. So I love the way you said, hey, I had to, man, my healing journey is getting to know me. Who am I? I've been engulfed in the thick of all of these things. Who am I? And I believe that is a powerful tool for freedom. When we can realize who we are, and then that leads to some of those other pieces. So you get to know yourself better. What did you find out, man? Did you find some hobbies, some tools? Did you find your passion, that type of thing?
I thought it was right here, but my camera, man,
Yeah.
my lady, early on in our relationship, she bought me the laptop I'm using to do this right with you right now,
Wow.
and she bought me a camera. And a friend of mine had a friend who made music, and I was like, well, let me make a video for him,
Yeah.
So I went out and shot a music video, and man, that fire got lit. I was like, that's right. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
love this. I
Yeah.
went to school for
Yeah.
this. Is my passion.
Yeah.
So I really fell deep into making music videos for a
Yeah.
while, and ended up meeting another artist, and we were working really hard together. Got to the point where he was at my house so much that I was just like, bro, just move in.
Mhm.
When you're getting here at 8 a.m., we're working
Yeah.
till 2 a.m. Like just take the room that's on the side.
Yeah.
And the significant part about that was he brought his microphone. Never in my entire life, I was 34 years old at that point. Never in my entire life had anyone even considered I had any musical ability or any business looking at a damn microphone. And but he brought it over, and I mean, you know, he's recording on my computer, and then he's not there, and I'm sitting there, and it's in my face. So I was like, let me try to make a song, you know.
Yeah.
And I started recording music, and that was, other than my girlfriend, that was the other big thing that got me through it.
Yeah.
Because it was, for the first time in my life, I was able to express all the, and I mean, I still had a lot of trauma that I was dealing with. I still had a lot of anxiety I was dealing with, and I just put it all in my lyrics. And I mean, the majority, no one wants to listen to my music. It was very much for me. I listen to my music, but no one, you know,
Cathartic, man. Cathartic, therapeutic. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it was huge. And I made music for about a year and a half, maybe a little less. And then this guy messaged me, or like I was talking to him for a while, and he had a podcast where he interviewed people, and he asked me to cover for his podcast one day. And I was like, okay. So I interviewed somebody, and I called him the next day. I was like, bro, I forgot I love interviewing. I'm sorry, but I'm running with this. I'm going to do my own thing or whatever. So I started my podcast. And the funny thing about that timing is that when I started my podcast, I stopped making music. And I mean, when I say I made music, I mean, I'm up at 8 a.m. in my garage recording. I don't come in but to eat twice a day, and then I'm in, you know, then I go in at midnight. It was a crazy passion for me. But as soon as I started the interviews, I stopped making music. And a couple weeks later, a couple months later, I'm realized, I haven't made a song in 2 months, but I'm okay.
Right. Gotcha.
I don't feel like I need to. I don't feel like I have anything more that I need to let out and that I need to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. You know, I'm involved in our local school system, and so I do some social emotional learning type stuff for small kids, trying to help them, man, just deal with emotions and character stuff, that type of thing. And one of the things that is consistent is that trauma, you know, one of the ways to work through that and healing is creativity. So whether it's the art, drawing, you know, music, whatever that is, but creativity. And any way I could help them be creative, it kind of takes them away from whatever they're dealing with, whatever those feelings are, and how to express that. Okay, you're mad. Okay, let's do something to channel that. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have these feelings, but what you do with them is what's important. And so it sounds like, you know, you were just like detoxing, man, with your pen, detoxing with the microphone, detoxing with the laptop. You know, hey, I'm getting this stuff out, and you know, it works that way a lot of times, man. And so having that outlet, you know, and the other thing I hear you saying is just, man, I had the right people around me. You know, I had the support. So when I was weak, you know, man, they were strong for me. You know, there's a scripture in Ecclesiastes that says 2 is better than 1, because when one falls, the other can lift him up, and one is cold, the other one can bring him heat. And so it's the power of being connected to the right people. You know, just like the wrong people can bring you down, the right people can build you up.
Absolutely.
So to have someone who sees something in you, hey, take this laptop, hey, take this microphone, hey, take this, you know, to support you in those moments, man, it means everything. And so that's a wonderful thing. I hope you guys are getting these nuggets and listening in. And you may not have the identical story, because this is a very unique situation, but there's so many principles that he's given us that we can apply to our own situations. There's some powerful things that he's stating. Yours may not be physical abuse. It may be something else. It's just it may be some other relationship dynamic that is not healthy, you know, or maybe some other lifestyle dynamic that is not healthy. And you may not be Corey in the story. You may be the young lady who's in the story. You know, there's always point of views. And so, or you may be Lily in the story, you know, that type of thing. But what are the lessons that you should get? Transparency opens the door for others to walk through. That's 100% right. Transparency opens the door to others to walk through. Then I think another comment she put up, she said, choosing me is key. She put that up earlier. I didn't want to interrupt you, but choosing me, there it is. Choosing me is key. And it's okay, you all. It's okay. It's not a selfish thing. I'm only as good to those around me as I am healthy, you know. And I had to learn that, like, hey, you're not doing anybody any favors by, you know, running on fumes or being unhealthy and being a martyr. I call it martyr syndrome. And you're going down for a good cause, and you don't have to. No, you want to focus in on you so that you can support the others that are around you. You know, if you're on a plane, they said, hey, put the oxygen device, put it on yourself first, and then secure.
Right.
Because if you can't breathe, it doesn't make a difference.
You're no good to anybody else.
You're no good to anybody else. No good to anybody else. Man, our time is almost up, but just if there's a lesson to be gotten in all of this that you could give to the world, what would that lesson be? If there's a message, or if there's just a thought that you wanted to put out there, maybe when you think back to your younger self, I don't know, but I'm saying if there's something that you would want to communicate to somebody on a final note, what would that be?
I'll tell you what, my message is for people who know somebody who's in a situation like I was in.
I love it.
There's nothing that you can say to change their minds.
Mm-hmm.
They know they're doing wrong.
Wow.
It's not like it's a mystery to them. They're very aware that they're in a bad situation. The best thing that you can offer them is a safe space.
Wow.
When they can get away, when they can get away from all the havoc and the chaos, offer them somewhere to go that's quiet, comfortable, and a good conversation. Doesn't have to be about this. Just be that person for them.
I love that, man. Yeah, my mom would say the same thing, because she said, they tell people they need to leave, they need to do this. She said, that's very dangerous. You can get somebody hurt that way, but be there for them when it's time for that, or having that exit strategy or that plan, versus you're gassing this person up to abruptly leave. You can get them hurt, but being a safe space is exactly right. And one of the things that I tell folks at our church, and just people in general, is that one of the best things that you can be for people is consistent and being there. That's what a lighthouse does. It just sits there, shines the light. And when you're ready to circle back around, you may get super far away, but when you're ready to circle back around, guess what? I'm here. I'm consistent. I'm not moving. Like you said, they may not be ready to hear you. They may be so far away, but when they get ready to look for that lighthouse, then we can be there and we can be consistent for them, man. And so, man, this has been good stuff tonight. Corey, I knew you were going to be great, man. I appreciate you being on tonight. I know we've gotten so much. Hey, come on, light up the comment section if this has helped you tonight, or this has been good to you tonight. Can you just let us know? Thumbs up, smiling or something, or hey, man, just let us know how you feel. If you didn't like it, tell us that too. We want to know what you feel. I can't see how you wouldn't like it. But just let us know in the comments. Let Corey know he's in the right place.
I do gotta shout Princess out though. I know you said it earlier, but she does a fantastic job producing this show. I mean, y'all's graphics are top quality. Princess, you're killing it.
Yeah, she's amazing, man. She's amazing. And by the way, she is she can do it virtually. So you know what I mean? She may need to. Yeah, hey, I'm just saying, man. She can get it done. I told you, Princess, what I tell you. All right, thank you, Corey. No shame. I'm telling you, she's on it, man. She's a jewel. We're blessed to have her, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing your story. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, we appreciate you. Yes, she does great. Everybody's throwing the hearts up, man. You've helped us tonight, Corey. We appreciate you, man. All right, Corey, we appreciate you. Corey, if you're waiting in the green room, man, we're gonna close this thing out. Hey, I told you all, Corey Carter, you all. Man, I knew it. There's my mom right there, Corey. Thank you, Corey, for your courage and your strength to speaking the truth. Many male victims continue to suffer in silence due to how we stereotype male victims compared to female victims. I praise God for your healing. I think that's what you say. You're healed. So, man, that's outstanding, man. I appreciate you getting on and sharing this tonight with us as well. Listen, Corey said it best. If you know somebody, if you can be a solution, if you can be a help, one of the biggest things that you can do to be a solution and a help is to be a safe space, is to be a place where they can come when the time is right. And then, of course, I've got to throw this in there. One of the most powerful things that we can do is to pray for those individuals, and that God will lead them to safety and to a place of healing and wholeness. Man, I'm telling you, I'm excited about what was shared tonight. Go back. If you got on late, go back and watch it. Go back and we leave them up. And so make sure that you check it out. Maybe you need to sit down and watch it with somebody, you know, say, hey, let's watch something. Maybe they won't hear you, but they'll hear Corey. You know, the old saying, game recognized game. You know what I mean? So it may be where they recognize his authentic stance, and they can see themselves in him. And so maybe you just need to sit down and watch it. And what you've been trying to say, you know, that their ears may be open to that, you know. But I believe that it's certainly gonna continue to bless and help people find their healing. So thank you again, Corey Carter, for being with us. Y'all make sure that y'all let Corey know, if you haven't already, if you're watching this by way of replay, to still let him know that you value and appreciate him being with us. Hey, just a few reminders. Don't forget that we're switching up the format for the month of June, July. We'll see how long we're going to do. We may do it the entire summer. And so we have these different guests. He started off with the bang, man. And so, but on next week, we're going to, yeah, there he is. Started this thing off with a bang. And then on next week, we're going to have another amazing guest. He's going to be talking to us about some financial matters. He's a financial advisor, growth and development director, and an amazing gentleman. And he's going to be talking to us about building our financial house. And you can start wherever you are. And so don't think I can't afford to do this. I can't build a financial house. I barely can, buy groceries or whatever it is. No, you want to be on, because he's going to tell you some amazing keys on how you can start where you are to begin to put things in place to change, just the landscape of your portfolio. And even if you have surplus and you're making a whole lot of money, you still need to be on, so that you can find how to utilize those resources so that you maximize them. And I guess let me just go ahead and put it on out there. He's going to be with us on the 12th, but on the 17th, he's going to be doing a life lab with us. And so you're going to get him on the 12th, but then on the 17th, he's going to do a life lab. And that life lab is going to, you can text life lab to 94,000. That life lab is going to be a more intimate setting. It's going to allow for us to be able to ask questions and dialogue and that type of thing. If you've never been part of a life lab, you want to be part of that. Can you pop that back up one more time, Princess, for me? That life lab, you can register. You need to register and secure your spot. Text life lab to 94,000, life lab to 94,000 to secure your spot. And that, again, that's going to be that same financial advisor, but he'll be right here on Midlink next week. Make sure you mark your calendars. All right. It's going to be amazing. All right, you all, that is our time. Don't forget, we're getting ready to jump on for a time of prayer. All you have to do is call in 609-663-0482. You don't have to say anything. Just listen and receive and be blessed. It's going to be great as well. Thank you again to our very special guest, Mr. Corey Carter. We appreciate you coming on and being a blessing to us, man. We just thank God for your healing and where you are in life and your process, man. It's certainly such an encouragement to us all. All right, everybody. I think that's it for tonight. My prayers the Lord would bless you, and he'll bless you indeed. My prayers that he would enlarge your territory, that his hand would be on you and with you. He keep you from evil and from harm. We say it so in Jesus' name. All right, you all. We'll talk to you real soon, everybody. Be blessed.